It's 9 a.m., time for the only garden talk radio show in Milwaukee. Tell your friends, the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is on the air. Join us and let's grow together.
Coming up on the program, it's about foliar feeding your plants, what the term means, and how it can benefit your plants when done correctly, as well as common plant problems you're facing in your vegetable garden right now, as well as our first ever in-studio guests. They are the hosts of the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki on WCGO 1590 out of Evanston, Illinois, Chicago Smart Talk Radio. Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki will be with us the entire hour in studio, as well as your garden questions. Garden Talk Radio is on the air, and it all starts right now.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show with your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird, some of the realest gardeners that you'll ever know, always willing to share their knowledge, mistakes, and working to grow together. Founders of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com that contains over 1,100 garden videos to show and teach others to grow some of what they eat. Join them for the next hour as they cover practical gardening information that has worked for them and more. Now here they are.
It is the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show on 860 AM WNOV and W293CX 106.5. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, whether on those particular stations, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, or through the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com website, or anywhere in between. I am your host, Joy Baird. Across the table today is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
We have special in-studio guests. We'll get to them in just a moment. There's a number of ways in which you can contact us throughout the program, and one is the IV Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard Hotline.
IV Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields pruned and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit, and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, visit ivorganics.com. You can call us anytime during the show with your question or comment at 414-444-5250.
You can certainly do that. You can email us at twvgshow@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is TWVG or you can just simply hashtag us at TWVG. Well, I want to talk about, before we get to our guest, I want to talk about a little thing that one of our sponsors has going on right now. Now, we all like saving money, and we all like getting a product in which is good and even better than what we expected. Well, this is between you and me. You guys are listening, so come close to the radio. M.I. Gardener, the official seed sponsor of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com website and video series, they got their annual 30% off yearly sale. Nothing's wrong with the seeds, but they have to get rid of the inventory from 2018 in order to get the inventory for 2019. Just the law. They have to get rid of them. So when you go to checkout, get all your seeds. They've got 450 varieties of seeds. Some are sold out, but that's just the way it works. You put at checkout, coupon code is FALL30, FALL, numeral 3, numeral 0. Save 30% on your whole order, whether you're ordering $3, $30, or $300. You can do that. So that's between me and you. Don't tell anybody, because if you do, everybody's going to buy the seeds besides you and I. So keep that in mind.
That's our secret.
That's our secret. Yeah, keep that at back. Well, I want to talk. Let's introduce our guest here. They are the hosts of the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki on WGCO 1580 out of Evanston, Illinois. Chicago Smart Talk. Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki will be with us the entire hour. We greatly appreciate you guys coming all the way up here to be part of our show, the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
And we're happy to be here. And now I see
I have Facebook Living you.
Yeah, I'm Facebook Living you guys here. So here we are, and there's Peggy over there, and here. And there's our engineer. And look, we can look outside. I love it. We just look
and
out.
It's not raining up here.
It's not raining here. We drove up in the rain, and we're very pleased to be here. This is so great.
Well, we appreciate that. Well, we'll get more in depth about what you guys do at the bottom of the hour, but let's get in the topic of the day, which is foliar feeding. And this is something that many people are not familiar with when it comes to the productivity and the health and growth of their plants.
Right, definitely. I don't think people realize that this is something that is very beneficial for your plants, and it can be done throughout the season, especially right now.
Well, what is foliar feeding? Let's address that term first.
So foliar feeding is basically something you're going to spray on the leaves of your plants to give them a nice nutritional boost, and it allows for the plants to uptake the nutrients through their leaves.
Now, one would choose to do this. People say, well, why don't you just pour it in the roots and let it go that way?
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
I would say, why are you not just giving your your plants really, really good soil and getting all the nutrients through the roots.
And Holly, why is this? Why do we want to apply it in the roots, or apply it on the foliar feed instead of just putting it on the roots?
Well, one of the reasons is that it absorbs the nutrients directly that way without having to go through the soil, so it's more of a direct contact to the plant. And also, if your soil has a bad pH or isn't very good soil, it allows the plants to absorb those nutrients without worrying about if your soil has that buffering capacity.
Right, and you want to do this in the evening. The plants are more susceptible as the dew falls in the leaves. The plants kind of open up their pores, and they are able to absorb this. Now, you don't need to worry about, your squashes, your pumpkins, that type of thing, getting powdery mildew on it, because you're just going to put a mist on it. And this can be a variety of different nutrients in which you can put on the plant.
And when you do this, you want to spray both sides of the leaves. So
get yourself a Chapin sprayer.
Yeah, an effective sprayer like Chapin.
Question. Yes.
Oh, no, it's not even a question. It's a comment.
Okay.
And Peggy, I'm going to let you kind of handle this because we did a little research on this too, and there's some folks that like to do it in the morning. You guys say the evening. So what, we in checking the things that in anticipation coming in the show, we were checking on foliar spraying, and some folks say it's morning. So why do you say evening?
They say that it's absorbed better with the evening dew and have a chance for it not to dry off as much overnight as opposed to in the morning where the sun could absorb it faster or cause it to evaporate faster.
Plants typically do a lot of their growing over the night period, so by giving that energy boost to them or that nutrient, they can absorb it, not be stressed, and then also do their growth cycle as they normally do over the night period. So that's the reason why we recommend in the evening. Now, again, we're not dousing the plant with gallons of it. We just want to mist the leaves of the plant.
And that's one of the things too is that the mist, you don't want huge drops because it's going to fall right onto the ground, and in fact
you're going to waste it.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, one of the claims that some people say about foliar feeding is that you're actually fertilizing through the ground because the substance will go onto the ground and then be absorbed by the roots anyway. So that might be part of what's going on. Is that a possibility?
Some of it can fall to the ground, and that's okay too. If you're using an organic foliar feed, it's not going to be harmful. If you are using something that's non-organic or conventional, you do want to make sure you are spraying it onto the leaves as efficiently as possible.
Okay.
So what are some different applications in which we can mix with our water to spray on the plants here?
So one of them is weed tea. And so what weed tea is it's basically an anaerobic process of taking your weeds, and you put them in a big bin or tub, and then you add water, and you let it kind of cook or steep for, a couple weeks. How long would you say, Joey? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
It smells absolutely terrible. It smells like a cow lot, but it is very beneficial to your plants. And you can use it as a foliar feed. You can also use it as a weed tea and put it directly into your soil as well. But it's beneficial either of those ways.
And you can also add Epsom salt to your plants. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. Has a tremendous benefit of greening the plants up. A lot of nurseries will use this as a part of their secret formula in order to get the plants looking nice and pretty before you get there and buy them. But you can use Epsom salt to mix in with your weed tea, mix in with your foliar feed, and it will absorb the plants. It's a micronutrient to a certain degree that your plants will love. Mike.
Can I put in something else here? And I think I'll do it. You want to hold this one? One of the things that if you follow Dr. Linda Chalker-Scott, I'm sure you know her from the Garden Professor's blog in Washington State University, and she talks about Epsom salts being only advised in the case of a magnesium deficiency. Mm-hmm. Should you check for that first before applying Epsom salt? Oh,
you should always do a garden or soil test each year. Obviously, you can do them very affordably, or you can spend a lot of money. The more money you spend, the more detail you get. But yes, you should do and find out if you have a magnesium deficiency in your soil before you start adding lots of magnesium sulfate, Epsom salt to your soil.
So you wouldn't, as a normal course, use Epsom salts, or would you do that?
We used to, but we've backed off on that because we've seen that there's only specific reasons and purpose for that, and not just an overall use, pretend like it's fertilizer type of method.
But as we say, if it's something that you've always done and it works for you and you find success with it, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's always something. Yeah, if it works.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, yeah.
You can also use what else can we use? There are chemical products.
Right, there are chemical products.
Non-organic means that people use Miracle-Gro. People find success with this. We choose not to, just because it's not of an organic duration, organic means. Yes, Peggy.
What about kelp or seaweed?
Seaweed is a great application in which you can dilute it. You can get a concentrate liquid seaweed from your garden center and apply that according to the recommended rates on the back of the package. Again, like Mike says, just because a little is good doesn't mean a lot's better. So you want to, seaweed is a great thing. A lot of gardeners on the coast will use seaweed in their compost piles too, because it has such a high nutrient value as it breaks down and turns into soil.
And as we kind of mentioned before, if you are going to go the non-organic method, you want to be mindful of how you're spraying it, how you're using it. But if you are new to organic gardening and you want to try to keep some of the chemical applications, using foliar feed is I don't want to say it's a good idea.
It can burn the plants.
It can burn the plants, but it's less likely to get into your soil versus just putting Miracle-Gro directly into your soil.
And with any chemical application, we have to remember that the chemicals are water soluble, which means they attract to the water molecules. And then you have problems, and you like dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico, algae bloom in the lakes. And you think,
what? You're kidding me.
People think, it's just my little garden, I'm just going to apply it. A little bit for everybody adds up to a lot for all of us and causes a lot of environmental problems.
As we had learned last week, even if it's something that you're like, this is safe, it's safer versus some other chemicals, a lot of times it does affect even the wildlife itself. And even if you have like a septic system, a lot of times it'll cause problems there too. So it's not just about you and your garden. You kind of have to think beyond that picture.
Can I ask a question about how do you determine that you need a foliar application versus just adding more or fixing your soil, adding compost or something around the base of the plant?
Well, a lot of times if you need to fix your soil, it's not going to be an immediate overnight fix. So adding the foliar feed to the leaves will give it that nutrient boost a lot faster.
So...
Okay.
Are there certain
types
types of plants that respond better?
The more wider leaves, like the pumpkins, zucchini, the ones that have a lot of porous area, works really, really well. Some of your like cabbages have that very dense, waxy. They do respond, but not to the absorbance that some of these more tender plants leaves have.
So I would definitely use this in combination with caring for your soil, building your soil, and then also feeding your plants the foliar feed.
So that's just a little bit of foliar feeding. You may have never heard that term before. I know I talked to some friends and they thought I was making stuff up, and I said, don't doubt me when it comes to gardening.
Wait. Isn't that the way you roll here? You just make stuff up all the time?
We talk gardening sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So when we come back, we're going to talk about problems in your garden, plant problems that we're facing that you're probably facing too right after this.
24/7, 365. The WisconsinVegetableGardener.com has all the gardening information you need. Videos, digital magazines, replays of shows, and more.
The Handy Safety Knife is a patented, high-quality knife that's worn like a ring, so it's always conveniently at hand and very easy and efficient to work with. That's why you'll find the Handy Safety Knife at work in a wide range of industries and applications. Learn more at HandySafetyKnife.com. Place an order for your business. Call toll-free 866-294-3424.
Use coupon code WVG to get 10% off and free shipping, one-time use only at HandySafetyKnife.com.
Do you have a problem with deer or small herbivores eating your vegetation? There is a natural solution that is safe for your pets and family. Bobex is the answer. An environmentally friendly solution to protect your plants, will not wash off, and is guaranteed. Bobex Deer was independently tested against 9 known competitors and rated 93% effective, second only to a physical barrier. Bobex can be used on all types of ornamentals, trees, and shrubs. Ask for it by name at your local independent garden center. Find out more, visit Bobex.com. BOBX TWVG.com.
Hoss Tools wants to help you grow your own food. From seed starting supplies, hand tools, drip irrigation, harvesting equipment, and a complete line of all-natural pest control solutions, they've got you covered. Keep your garden weed-free with their time-tested, American-made wheel hose that are built to last a lifetime. And their precision garden seeders have proven design for planting a wide variety of seeds. Hoss Tools has what you need to get the most out of your growing space, large or small. Free shipping and outstanding customer service. Shop online or request a free catalog at HossTools.com.
Rebel Green, responsibly made natural products that are good for you and the environment. Made in the USA, plant-based, vegan, and always toxic-free. Find out more at rebelgreen.com. Use coupon code WIVEG15 to save 15% off your next purchase at rebelgreen.com/shop. Flame Engineering, home of the Weed Dragon, the perfect propane torch kit for home and garden use. For killing weeds, no need to pull or spray. 100 other uses. Find out more at flameengineering.com. Didn't always approve of the carrot. This garden fun fact is sponsored by ManureTea.com. Get your 3-pack today. Drop the tea bag in water, let steep, then feed your soil, not your plants. 100% organic. Find out more at ManureTea.com. Always free shipping. There are over 100 species of edible carrots today. America's dinner plates did not approve of the carrot for the longest time. They finally became fond of it after soldiers returning home from World War I insisted on having carrots because of the consistent contact they had with the vegetable during the war. Purple Cow Organics quickly and naturally increases the uptake of nutrients and water to your plants with their new bioactive vegetable supercharger designed to meet the unique needs by helping the living organisms in the soil help plants uptake the nutrients more quickly through their roots and leaves. Find out more at purplecoworganics.com. I know you're looking for an alternative to harsh chemicals, but you want professional strength products. BioSafe's garden line gives you just that. Professionally used for 20 years, available to homeowners. Organic solutions that are effective. They offer an array of eco-friendly products from plant food, fertilizer to one-of-a-kind herbicides, organic weed killer. BioSafe's products can be used around children, pets, wildlife, so you can enjoy your yard more. Grow stronger, healthier with BioSafe. Find us on Facebook at BioSafe Home and Garden and visit us at biosafe.net to learn more. Get 10% off your next purchase at biosafe.net by using coupon code TWVG at checkout.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Hoss Tools, Tree Diver, Root Maker, Seeding Square, Rebel Green, Dripping Springs Oil, Zaz Products, Shield and Seal, Pomona Universal Pectin. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener with your host Joey and Holly Baird, and special in-studio guest, host of the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki on Chicago Smart Talk, 1590 AM. Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki.
People go out to their gardens all the time and they see problems and they don't know really what the problem is, and they try to describe it to people like us and Mike and some of our sponsors who do this for a living. And it's just not enough information. You have to provide some type of image or more description. I'll reference Luke from In My Gardener. He had a comment the other day, and he said, I'm not answering it because it said, my plants are dying. What do you think it is?
Right. There's just
you have to help yourself.
Right. There's way too many variables there. And sometimes I'll get people that send me messages on Facebook, and this is what's going on with my plants. So what is it? And it's like, yeah, you need more information. So one thing is that...
And we do have great people who listen to us and email us and send photographs and be very descriptive. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what it looks... I can help you then. I can do that. But what we got a number of problems that we faced and we're facing in our garden, and we're going to cover some of those right now.
Right. So, what did you want to go with?
Well, let's go with the early, the tomato blossom end rot on tomatoes.
So this is going to be happening now because we're starting to get tomatoes, or hopefully soon. And so, what that is, it's a lack of calcium in your soil,
or lack that the tomato can't pick up the calcium that's already in your soil because of the lack of water that you're providing for it or nature's giving it.
So what happens is that if you're not watering properly, you're not giving your garden enough water, that calcium gets locked up into your soil and it's not being released into the plants, and that's what causes that blossom end rot. The good news is that it's not a permanent thing. So what would happen is on the next fruiting, as long as you keep properly watering, it should be gone.
You can actually save a tomato that's gotten blossom end rot. Just cut off that part of it.
Yeah, we've done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And we used to say this, and we've made mistakes, and I'm sure, Mike, maybe you've made one or two in your life.
No.
Okay. That's why we have you on the show. That we would say add Epsom salt to the soil, and this would prevent this from happening. But what occurs is, we talked about in the first segment, Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate, helps green the plants up. Well, then we tell people add 2 tablespoons of Epsom salt to 1 gallon of water, and you'll fix your problem. Well, it fixes the problem because you're watering the tomato plant, allowing the calcium that's in the soil to be unlocked for the plant to pick up.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're doing.
So save your Epsom salt and use it for your feed at the end of the day, and keep your plants watered.
It's really an interesting problem, and you guys mentioned both of it. It's technically, it's a calcium uptake problem, but as you say, Holly, it's solved by proper watering. So you really, the average gardener should not get visions of calcium in their heads. What they should get is regular watering techniques in their heads. That's what they need to do.
That's exactly it, is to be properly watering and making sure that you've built yourself kind of on a schedule or a rotation, and mentally
Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
and let me say something. Given that it's raining today, but this is interesting. And I think here in Milwaukee, in Chicago, it's been a very wet early summer. Except for the last few days, suddenly it got very dry. And Peggy, you were saying you have areas of cracked ground in your yard.
My mud turned to cracked. Hard pan clay.
And this is blossom end rot waiting to happen, basically. You get used to all this water, and I think gardeners get the idea that, well, we had a lot of water in May, so why am I worrying about it? It goes away very fast.
My grandfather's 82 years old, and he said in the summer you're 10 days away from a drought at any time.
That's really good advice, yes.
And that's why you need to make sure even if you're not watering because it rained, you're in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, I've thought about watering my plants
These
today.
are your children.
Right.
And I would imagine container plants
I'm not
going
to feed my baby today. He'll be okay.
Yeah, in containers you have to water more frequently because of that evaporation.
Especially as we're moving into mid-July, early August, because the days are getting hotter and more evaporation.
And I turned the irrigation system on last night knowing we were going to get rain today just to try to prime the soil to absorb more water.
So it doesn't run off.
So it doesn't run off.
So as Mike had mentioned, even though we've had this rain, and Joey made a good point there, we still have to be vigilant and mindful about what the future could be in regards to no rain.
Well, let's talk about another tomato problem, which is early blight, which a lot of people don't know what it is. They just say, I've got a discoloring of the lower leaves of my plant, and it's progressively working up the plant, and by the end of the season, I've got a plant with fruit and stalk and no leaves because they're all dead. That's early blight, and if we catch it early enough, we can fix it. Well, first of all, what is early blight, Holly? What is how does it happen?
Sure. So there's good and bad things in your soil. One of them is early blight. So what happens is that blight splashes up onto the leaves of your tomato plant, and then it starts to kind of just progress, work its way up, and that's what occurs there. So there's a few different things that you can do. One would be to trim the bottom leaves of your tomato plants at the time of planting, throughout the season, at any point where you see some yellowing. And once your plant is established, you can trim up to 25% of it away, and that's not a problem.
6 to 8 inches from the soil level up the stalk, leave the stalk bare, and anything in the canopy that's hanging down that the potential splash up of soil can attach itself to, we want to remove that as well.
Folks really hate to do that, okay? I will say right now, if you got lush leaves and they're near the bottom, and I clean up, move up the stalk, and I clean those leaves off, but you look at those beautiful, healthy green leaves, and you say, I don't want to take that off. It's adding energy to the plant, but you need to be aware of that that fungal spores can splash up from the ground and get on those leaves, and it's going to infect your plants.
And the more you trim off, the more stimulation you will cause the plant to produce more leaves, especially through the sucker aspect of it and the joints. They'll put more leaves on it. You can also mulch to prevent that soil.
You can mulch. Mulch is good for your whole entire garden, definitely around your tomatoes, because they are I think they're a little bit more sensitive.
And as you're trimming, you can put a handful of whole grain yellow cornmeal around the base that has a beneficial bacteria in it called trichoderma.
Fungi.
Yes,
What
fungi.
do you guys like to use for mulch around tomatoes?
We use leaves. If we're out of leaves, we use chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings. And straw also is a good third alternative to that. We put 2,000 pounds of leaves in our garden this year. The garden you'll see this afternoon, it's hard to find any leaves at all because they've all broke down.
Of course, yeah.
In the soil.
You know, that's one of the things in the spring when folks are cleaning up their garden. I scratch my head because there's food for your soil right there, and folks say, well, it's messy now, and I say, you know what? Once the weather gets warm, that's going to disappear so fast you won't even remember that it was there.
Right, and I have, and you've probably done this. You're doing a container, and you're picking out all the little stuff to make the soil all lush and clean. Yeah, so we want to leave that in the soil.
Exactly.
You're supposed to pull that out?
Whole grain cornmeal, yellow whole grain cornmeal. You can use that, and then you can put mulch on top of that. But we're wanting to prevent soil splash up on the leaves. 90% of the problems your tomato plant's going to face is problems that soil has attached itself to the leaves.
So why don't we talk real quick about that tomato leaf curl?
Okay. And you brought this to our attention, Mike,
right.
the tomato leaf curl.
Yeah.
And you talked about it on your show.
Yeah.
So can you give the symptoms of what you were seeing or still are seeing and what you were able to find out, and I was able to find some information on it?
Basically, several weeks ago, we noticed that the leaves, top leaves, generally it was the newer leaves on the tomato plants, had started to curl. They did not discolor. They're still green. There was no discoloration on the rest of the plants. So we're not talking about early blight or late blight or some of those other problems. And the leaves just curled, and sometimes the problem went away, and sometimes it didn't. Now, I had it in my yard. Peggy had it in her yard. She's in Highland Park. I'm in Chicago, so that's completely different. We've had other people with the same problem, and we've been trying to diagnose it. Now, I had a friend of mine write to me and said, "Oh, I think it's pesticide drift." I said, "Yeah, but it's the same problem Peggy's having in a different part of."
If you were neighbors, you could say, "Okay,
right, you could say it's
Right.
and
Same with people I know in Lake Forest.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not close.
And in my neighborhood, I don't think anybody uses that stuff because there's not a lot of lawn, so it's not 2,4-D, and it's not. I don't know anybody using Roundup even in the near area. It would have to be something like 2,4-D because that can spread for miles.
Right.
You can have drift from that and not even know that somebody's applying it a mile away. I get that. I'd be surprised if it was that. Now, some of the plants have recovered, and others still have the curl. For instance, I have a Cherokee Purple tomato that still has curled leaves. And what are your tomatoes that have the problem, Peggy?
Berkeley tie-dye green.
Okay.
Any of the potato leaves are perfectly fine. It didn't do anything to them.
So we think, from doing a little research, and we're still not exactly sure what the problem is, but considering that some of the plants have recovered, we think it's heat and water related somehow. Mainly heat,
because the plant
is what
continues to grow and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Just
yes,
the
we're
color.
still getting blossoms. We're still getting fruit produced. It's just
The
that
leaves
the
haven't
leaves are
turned a lighter
curled,
green or
right?
anything.
And they have not turned color. They're not dropping off. And I'm kind of shrugging and saying, "Okay, I'll roll with it for now," but I'm still not exactly sure what the problem is.
Well, that's just some of the tomato problems that you're facing in our gardens, and hopefully that will help some of you that have problems in your garden. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk more in depth with Peggy and Mike and ask Mike why he's growing tomatoes in his dead neighbor's backyard right after this.
Got a question? Email the show at twvgshow@gmail.com.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar, honey, or any alternative sweetener you'd like. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Available at most natural food stores and online.
The number one key to healthy, productive plants are the roots. Starting from seed to full-grown plants, rootmaker.com has the answer. From seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots, creating a fabulous root system, never again will you have root-bound plants, to multiple gallon grow bag sizes to raised beds. Rootmaker.com has your grow needs covered. Visit rootmaker.com.
Mycorrhizae is a beneficial fungus from PlantSuccessOrganics.com that will greatly increase your plant's germination ability and healthier root structure. You can increase seed sprouting, root growth, and general plant germination. Mycorrhizae can be used with hydroponic root cutting, seed sprouting, cocoa coir, and soil. PlantSuccessOrganics.com carries powder, granule, and tablet form of mycorrhizae. Increase the level of mycorrhizae in your soil to give your plant the optimal opportunity to produce incredible harvests. For more information and to purchase, visit PlantSuccessOrganics.com.
The Gardener's Hollow Leg, the debris and harvesting bag you wear, comes with its own belt attachment, perfect for doing light pruning, weeding, harvesting on the ground or on a ladder, and many other uses. Find out more at thegardenershollowleg.com. Save 10% by using the word veggies at checkout. Zaz Products, offering great quality supplements that can help personal health and increase longevity. Committed to bringing you the highest quality products at the lowest price. Find out more at zazproducts.com. Tall Earth Wood Treatment, all-in-one preservative and stain, offers lifetime protection and creates a unique silver-aged wood finish. All ingredients are non-toxic, eco-friendly, perfect for garden beds and veg front. Find out more at tallearth.com. Free shipping on all orders. Use coupon code WISCONVEG to save 15% off orders placed at tallearth.com. Garden seeds do not have to cost a fortune, just 99 cents at migardener.com. Now with over 450 varieties of non-GMO, heirloom, and organic flower, vegetable, and herb seeds available year-round. Pay less and get more seeds. Shipping as low as $2.50. That just makes sense. Go to migardener.com for seeds and garden needs, tools, and special blend fertilizers. migardener.com. It's that simple. Family owned and operated.
Do you enjoy hanging baskets but struggle to keep them properly watered? The Plant Booster Self-Watering System is a mechanical system that will ensure optimal soil moisture at all times by reacting to the weight of each plant. The weight of each plant tells the system how much water it needs. Unlike a timer-controlled system where all plants get water at the same time, whether they need it or not. Also ideal for condos or apartments with no outdoor water source. Check out details, videos, and extensive explanation and ideas for application at plantbooster.net.
The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is brought to you by the following: Flame Engineering, Eco Garden Systems, Bobex, Plant Success, Beans and Barley, M.I. Gardener, Outpost Natural Food Co-op, Root Assassin, Manure Tea, The Gardener's Hollow Leg. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener.
Well, if I know so much, how come I ain't rich?
Some of the wealthiest people are the ones with the least amount of money, Mike.
Oh, can I write that down?
Yeah, that's yours. You can use that.
And with your hosts, Joey and Holly Barrett, and special in-studio guest, host of the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki on Chicago Smart Talk, 1590 AM. Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki.
A lot of people want to go to a garden center because they have plants. Well, some garden centers only have plants, and they only play the little gardening game a couple of weeks a year. Well, Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center is not that place. They do gardening year-round. They do landscape. They do mulch. They do lawn care. They do snow removal. They have a coffee shop on the premise. You can go to bluemels.com and find all of that. I don't need to tell you that. I will tell you what a valid, happy customer wrote to us in regards to their service. James emailed us this week and said, I talked to the Blue Mel's staff last year after hearing about it on your radio show. I learned Blue Mel's does a whole lot more than just sell plants. I visited their landscape area and have since had them do 2 sizable landscape projects here on my property in 2017, and the second one was just completed. I got 3 quotes, and they were the lowest price, but they listened to what I wanted to accomplish, and their ideals and proposals most closely matched my ideals and proposals. So Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center, they've been doing this since 1955. They listen to the customers because that's who allows them to stay in business. You can find them at 4930 West Loomis Road, off of Layton. You can call them at 414-282-4220. You can always find them online at bluemills.com, and they will meet and surpass all of your expectations when it comes to gardening, landscape, 40 varieties of bulk material, and everything in between. Well, Holly, let's reintroduce.
And I got a Swedish massage over there too.
Oh, did you?
So
Okay.
talk about full service. Goodness, they cover it all.
So we've been enjoying the hour here with our in-studio guests this morning. We have Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki. They're from the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki.
And I got to tell you something. You guys have plugged our show more than we do on our own show. Okay.
We should have brought the dingers.
I know. I should have had them right here. I was thinking about that, actually. I could run to the car and get them right now.
So that's on Sunday morning from 9 to 11 on Chicago Smart Talk, WGCO 1580. And just a little...
1590.
WCGO 1590.
And you can listen to them at MikeNovak.net live. You can find them on the Simple Radio app and the TuneIn app by searching WGCO 1590.
And what we find is, and you guys might know this too, that once you do this a while, there's all kinds of different apps that pick you up that you'd never heard of. And Peggy will be doing that sometimes. She'll say, "Did you know we're on this app here?" I said, "No, I have no idea." And you just, there you are.
And sometimes we'll find our podcast put on somebody's blog. They'll just take the stream, so you never know where it's going to end up.
Free.
It works for me. I'll tell you.
Well, and if you go to MikeNovak.net, there's more than 300 podcasts up there.
Yeah, we got like 300 podcasts on iTunes and everywhere else.
And just a little background. Peggy, you are the publisher of Natural Awakening in Chicago.
In Chicago.
For 8 years now.
Yes.
Tell a little bit about, there's different, hubs or different groups throughout the country that does that
There's
type
different
of
publishers.
Okay.
So there is a Natural Awakenings Milwaukee. Gabby Butchnick is the publisher up here. She's been publishing for about 7.5 years. And you can find her at Outpost and a lot of
It's
other
a free
places. We're a free
publication,
monthly publication dedicated to sustainable, green living, healthy living, how the choices you make for your lifestyle and what you choose to eat not only affect your own health, the health of the planet.
And we've wrote for that publication several times. We're kind of the backup if needed. We've done it for several years now. And again, can you get it online if people? You can get it online.
You can get
free?
the Chicago one at nachicago.com. naturalmilwaukee.com. Plug Gabby as well. Facebook.
Yeah, we need a ding.
We need the ding. You can pick up copies any place you would pick up free magazines, especially in workout places, health food stores. Like I said, up here, the Outpost, Whole Foods.
How many different publishers
There's
are there?
about 75
throughout
across
the country.
It's 2019 will be the 25th anniversary of Natural Awakenings nationally.
Okay. And Mike, you've been doing radio for 21 years now. Gardening.
Unfortunately, it just seems like it goes on forever and ever and never ends. I don't know what the problem is.
And see, your show is a different format than ours, and ours is different than what you would consider a traditional formatting of a Garden Talk radio. A lot of in the country is, a hour show with a half hour worth of content. Please call in, waiting for you to call in. You guys bring guests in.
We gave up on that.
Was that a format that you used to do?
Well, I've always taken calls. I mean, back in the day, I was at WGN, and that's part of the staple of doing a talk show is calls. But over the years, I've discovered that I like talking to people who are smart, like you guys. Bring them in and ask them questions, and I'll take phone calls, but I always considered myself an amateur when it comes to growing things, but I know enough to ask good questions, and that's the way I kind of look at it. So I want folks in, and I want to dig into it a little bit. I was once at this conference, and some guy came up to me, he goes, "Hey, do you have the 90-second rule?" And I went, "What? What's a 90-second? Oh, I can answer any question in 90 seconds. And I thought, good for you. I'm not sure that anybody's going to learn anything in 90 seconds.
Because you're pushing it so much.
Yeah, because you need sometimes to expand on it and say, like you were talking the calcium and the watering. Why is it about water, and what does it have to do about calcium, and what about the leaf removal and so forth? It's sometimes complex, and you need to get into the weeds just a little bit, no pun intended.
Right.
And so I don't want to do it that fast. I want to take my time. And sometimes the good question, the best question of the day, doesn't come until 20 minutes into the interview. That's the way I look at it. And I could be totally wrong about that, but that's the way I view it.
Or it's on the commercial break, and then we
have
the conversation later.
We come back,
And people want, okay, why do I do this? Well, X, Y, Z. Well, why do I do X, Y, Z? People want to understand the science behind well, okay, you tell me I have to do it this way, but why do I have to do it this way?
You guys are really good about. You're good about all of it. Let me tell you, I'm very impressed by what you do here.
Well, thank you.
And I look at it, and I try not to do so much the how, because I can tell you how to plant a petunia, sure. Why is the question I want to get to. Why are you doing this, and what are you doing with your soil, and how are you leaving your little plot of earth in better shape than you found it? What are you doing? Are you paying attention to the soil food web? And a lot of people go, what? What's the soil food web? Well, I will explain for 10 minutes what the soil food web is. It's all the microbes and the macrobes in your soil, and are they working in concert? Are they working together? Have you messed them up by putting too many chemicals or too much water or not enough of something? How are you treating? And it's all about the soil, as you know. 95% of any plant problem starts below the soil line.
And that's the thing with big ag. You spray chemicals, you apply the application, you feed the plant. Soil's dead. The soil is just a medium in which it grows in.
Yeah, and let me tell you one more thing, and I'm sorry if I'm...
No, go ahead.
Okay.
This is your time.
I'm involved with the Illinois Landscape Contractors Association on a committee that's putting together a conference, and we did last year, and it's based out of a group that I started in 2002 called the Midwest Ecological Landscape Association. And it had to do with landscapers and how do we treat our planet better, and how do landscapers stop doing the same old... You guys talk vegetables here, but on my show, we'll talk arborvitae, we'll talk hydrangeas, we'll talk about trees and shrubs and all kinds of different stuff. And the one of the things I've discovered with the ILCA, and it's... I'm not talking out of school here. There's a lot of contractors who come in and they do not pay attention to the soil at all. They're not interested in the soil. They're only interested, I got my tree, my shrub, I'm going to slam this in the ground, I might mulch it, and then I'm walking away. And no soil test, no idea of how the thing is going to grow afterward. It's not a good way to do business. And look, I'm not slamming anybody in the contracting industry. I'm saying they will admit they don't pay enough attention to the soil.
Because it's the next job. It's the next job. The check.
That's right. You got to move on. Well, it's like lawnmowers. Yeah. It's like the lawn care company. If it's pouring rain, they're going to still come out and cut because they're on their schedule, not nature's.
Right.
And that's when you do it on your own. You get to do it to nature's schedule, not some schedule that's in a book somewhere in an office.
Cut, blow, and go is what these landscapers do, and they move on. They take everything and done.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your dead neighbor's backyard and you're planting tomatoes. Does she know that you're planting tomatoes in her backyard?
Not now.
And why? Why do we plant in the backyard?
All right. Here's the deal. I live in a tiny little tiny plot of land smack in the middle of Chicago in Logan Square. All right. And when I moved into the house, I was so excited. I had my own yard, and immediately I planted a lot of trees. Well, if you're a vegetable gardener, you know what happens if you plant a lot of trees.
You get a lot of shade.
You get a lot of shade, which I love. And it's beautiful. It's a haven. The problem is there's too much shade to grow vegetables. Well, then my neighbor next door has no trees. And
full sun, and
she died last year. And her niece took over it, and we said, is it okay if we plant some vegetables here? Mm-hmm. And she said, okay. So we kind of took over. I mended the soil, and I continued to amend the soil, and I put tomatoes in there, and potatoes, and beans, and...
Do you share with her, at least? Or does she not? Is she not interested?
She grows her own vegetables in her own place.
Okay. She's just taking care of her own.
But we do share with the neighbor 2 doors down, because we exchange tomatoes. Her family has a farm in Michigan, and I got the most amazing peaches last year because we gave them tomatoes.
Well,
I love that. That was awesome. So I grow there because it's got sun. Here's the problem. I didn't know how many years I was going to be able to do this, so I committed a cardinal sin of tomato growing is I put the tomatoes this year in the same place I did last year. Now, if you research it, you will realize that you can get away with it to some degree. You know, they always say, never, ever do this. Okay, I'm going to practice heresy here and say you can get away with it, but it's not a great idea.
Right.
Okay, you should probably rotate.
And the reason why you put them in the same, because it did well last year and the sun was right where you needed to be?
Well, it was last year. I put them in not knowing that I was going to be back, so I didn't care where I put them.
You just dumped
and
them
then
there,
this year I went, oh, we're back, and the only place I can
She's
put them is
still
right
dead.
there. Yeah,
So
she's still dead. And this is where I have the sun, and this is where I need to put them. So I thought, so what I need to start doing is, if we're going to continue to do this in the future, all right, this year I put tomatoes here, this is where I put the kale here, and then swap around,
and we've done it 2 years in a row and not had too much difficulty. 3 years we moved after the third year.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I don't think it's a good idea to do it 3 years in a row. I figured I could
real tricky when it's only a very small amount of space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the deal. It's just even next door, having the extra yard is still a limited amount of space.
16 square feet. It's hard to move things around to get anything out of it.
Right. You definitely have to work with what you have. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Well, when we come back, we're going to tackle some garden questions that we've gotten in. Mike and Peggy can certainly join in to help if they have some comments or suggestions for the questions in which we have right after this.
If you have a gardening question, now is the time to call in on the ivorganics.com 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline at 414-444-5250.
I know you're looking for natural and organic food, but at a great price. I've found the place. Woodman's has what you need. Woodman's offers a huge natural and organic selection with some of the area's largest organic meats, produce, and dairy departments. Shop consciously, but it won't break the bank. They have aisles of all the organic food, snacks, and treats you've been looking for, so you and your family can eat healthier without overpaying. Visit their Milwaukee area store locations, Kenosha, Menominee Falls, Oak Creek, and Waukesha, or visit woodmans-food.com to find the nearest location to you. Beans and Barley Market and Cafe, a neighborhood specialty grocery store for the east side and greater Milwaukee area, where you can find all you need, from fresh produce to bakery to organic frozen dinners, from wine to fresh squeezed carrot juice. A health food store with hundreds of products, vitamins, supplements, bath and body items, magazines, cards, books, and a knowledgeable staff. Catering available, open daily at 8 a.m. The restaurant serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week with a menu of good, healthy, homemade food, including vegetarian and non-vegetarian specialties. 1901 East North Avenue, Milwaukee, 414-278-7878, and online at beansandbarley.com.
It's that time to get your lawn lush and green with the Chapin spreader, the broadcast spreader that outperforms all in their class. Get consistent results year after year as if you had hired your own professional lawn service. Find Chapin spreaders online or order through your local Home Depot, Lowe's, True Value, or Do It Best hardware stores. To see the full line of Chapin lawn and garden products, go to www.chapinmfg.com. This season, arm yourself with the better spreader, Chapin. Shield and Seal vacuum sealers and the highest quality vacuum sealing products. Unique black and clear and all black bags, protecting your produce and product better than traditional bags. Find out more at shieldandseal.com. Root Assassin, a garden tool that does all the root functions with its advanced shovel that has serrated edges on both sides. Find out more information at rootassassinshovel.com. The Tree Diaper is an advanced plant hydration system. It is an innovative device that captures and holds the water around your plants once full and hydrates them slowly when the plants need it over a period of 30 days. From half to 30-gallon capacity based on your needs. And easy to install even for a first-time gardener. The Tree Diaper reduces weeds, protects plants, enhances root growth, and prevents overwatering. Whether you're growing trees, vegetables, flowers, houseplants, in containers, or the ground, your plants will benefit greatly by allowing the Tree Diaper to do the work for you. Find out more at treediaper.com. Made in the USA.
Blue Mel's Garden and Landscape Center offers an awesome selection of high-quality garden and landscape products. We have just the plants you're looking for: annuals, perennials, veggies, herbs, and more. Plus, you can always count on us to answer all of your questions and offer expert advice. Blue Mel's also carries the largest selection of bulk landscape materials in the area. Enjoy a beverage from our coffee shop while your kids run around in our huge playground. Join our growing list of highly satisfied customers. Visit the garden center that offers everything you're looking for. Visit Blue Mel's today.
Blue Mel's, 4930 West Loomis Road, 414-282-4220. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener is brought to you by the following: Handy Safety Knife, BioSafe, Tall Earth, Chapin International, The Plant Booster, Ivy Organics, Woodman's Market, Blue Mel's Landscape and Garden Center. Find all sponsors at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com and thank them for their support.
Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener with your host Joey and Holly Baird. and special in-studio guest, host of the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki on Chicago Smart Talk, 1590 AM. Mike Nowak and Peggy Malecki.
Well, if you've got a question, you can certainly give us a call. You can do that, or you can just send us an email at TWVG Show.
Operators are standing by right now.
At TWVGShow@gmail.com, Twitter at TWVG Show, or you can call in the Ivy Organics 3-in-1 Plant Guard hotline.
Ivy Organic 3-in-1 Plant Guard naturally protects plants against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents, protects newly installed plants and trees, shields pruned and damaged surfaces for use on your roses, fruit, and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. This product is non-toxic, environmentally safe, and organic. For more information, you can visit ivorganics.com or call in to 414-444-5250 right now with your gardening question or comment.
So we got a number of questions that came in on Twitter.
Let's go
Facebook.
to question number 53. Number 53, please.
Good morning. One of my gardens is very fertile, and the weeds are very hard to keep up with. I noticed yesterday that when I pulled the weeds, I loosened the soil around my beets, and they began to wilt. I suspect due to the heat. Instead, I discarded weeding, and I used the weeds, to cover the soil. I know that's the potential of the weed seeds dropping off and creating more seeds. Is there any type of mulch that you would recommend during the summer? I don't have any leaves available. I know that the temperatures get very hot and expect to get hot even with and without rain. So sometimes we leave weeds in because they actually shade the vegetables in which we are growing.
Yeah, I was thinking they were right about pulling the weeds because they were shading them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And two, you can use straw, not hay, because hay is the grasses in which is grown for animal feed. And those
hay could add more weeds to your garden.
Right, and you can also, like we've done this, we've pulled the weeds up and laid them on the ground as a mulch. Now, if the weeds do not have seed pods developing or flowers, you're okay. Weeds in which you've pulled out that have the beginning stages of the flowers, they will continue to develop the seed and then produce a flower. Dandelions are known for this. Pull them up, you throw them in your pull them up, put them in your compost pile, and they'll flower in the compost pile even with nothing attached to the roots. Straw is the best way. Chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings. We continue to say that over and over again because if you apply a weed-in feed that's not organic on your lawn, you bring that in, that water that attaches to the grass, you're going to water, and that's going to kill your broadleaf plants.
This person was also, I think, concerned about the heat that was coming and the lack of rain. And any mulch on your plant is going to help keep that water in and keep your roots cooler and kind of protect the soil.
And it reminded me, I'm so mad, I haven't planted my beets yet, and it's kind of late, but
fall beets. Fall beets.
Fall beets. Yeah. Exactly what I'm thinking. It's like I got to get them in now.
I've got beet seeds sitting on the counter to remind me.
Yes.
Next question, Connie asked, I would like to know how to plant, how you plant your seeds, in the straw. She's using mulch. Do you move it back? I sheet mulch my garden and plant the seeds right now, through the straw, and it's dismal. How the best to go about doing this? We go ahead and we remove the mulch back and actually find bare soil, plant the seeds, or if it's a plant.
It kind of depends on the seed, too.
Right.
I mean, if you got a big one, you just kind of in the ground. But if you've got the tiny little seeds, then you got to be more careful.
Right, and if you're broadcasting like leaf lettuce, you can't really mulch around that.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to just take that into consideration of how you're planting your seeds, what that seed is, and more or less how it's going to grow.
All right, and that's the thing. If it's a plant start, move the mulch back, plant, and put the mulch back around it. Here's a good question. Can onion seeds self-pollinate? If so, I have one onion I would like to get seeds from. Well, they do. The flowers are self-fertile, so the pollen from one florek can pollinate others' floreks on the same bulb that is flowering.
Those onions are so resourceful, aren't they?
Yeah.
One plant can produce thousands of
What's
seeds.
that one plant we learned about? Oh, the walking onion.
Walking onion.
Where they fall.
I have walking onions. I love walking onions.
Cool.
They are the coolest things ever.
They're in your dead neighbor's backyard.
They're my dead neighbor's backyard, and that was like the very first thing one of the very first things. And if you don't know what a walking onion is, the onion gets this long stalk, and then it flops over, and it lands on the ground, and guess what? It roots. It's so cool.
It's actually got a little bulblet on the top.
Yes, a little bulblet on the top. Yeah.
Barry from Texas asks, here we have a lot of molds and gophers and sandy loam. Poison traps don't seem to work. Any good suggestions to get rid of these problems? Well,
one thing you can do is you can put down hardware mesh underneath your garden, but if you're
hardware, that's hardware mesh.
Yeah.
Isn't that the
right, and that would prevent them from coming
hardware
cloth.
That might.
That would be on a raised bed.
On a raised bed, you put it underneath the bottom before you put the bed down because they can't chew through that thick gauged wire.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there are.
You could trap them. Some people trap them.
Other people, there's like devices in which you put in the hole and it sends out signals or I don't know, it's not Wi-Fi, but it's an ultrasonic system that will scare the moles or voles.
And the moles and the voles are there on their little devices, just like this.
And then they get their Wi-Fi. They get their Wi-Fi cut off. And they got to go.
Some people
else.
will actually encourage native wildlife like snakes into their garden to burrow and eat these plants or these animals, these gopher and moles. Some people like that. Some people don't. They'll actually encourage owls and other wildlife to come in.
How do you have a choice about snakes?
I really don't know.
You don't have a choice, and it's a good thing to have all kinds of critters in your garden because to some degree they start to balance each other out.
Right, and then if you start spraying chemicals, you've killed everything. So you want to be very cautious of that. So with that being said, we got more questions, but I do want to thank you and Peggy for Mike for coming up from Chicago to be part of the program today.
We rode our bicycles all the way. Man, it was what a trip. We started about 3 days ago, and we finally made it to Milwaukee.
Well, we greatly appreciate
you coming on.
The insight that you had.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
We do. We just think you're fabulous, and it's great to finally meet you in person and be here in the studio.
Absolutely.
You want to say anything, Peggy? Should I turn the camera around? All right. That's how she hides. She gets behind the camera, and then she never does.
I hide behind the camera a lot.
When she talks, she listens.
Exactly. So.
And time for one more question. How do you manage your raspberry offshoots growing up from the roots when growing in a container? Do you cut them off or what? This is in regards to a video we did about planting a raspberry plant in a container on a patio. So you can you can just trim them off, the suckers that come up or the offshoots, or you can actually let them grow a little bit and then cut them with a trowel or snips to get down below the soil level and remove them and plant them in another container. Now, your success rate may be hit and miss, but it's much cheaper to do that because you're getting a duplicate, you're getting another plant. Yes, you can cut them off, and all raspberry plants will do this, many berry plants will do this, even in the ground. But you can trim them off, or you can wait until they get a little more established, then get in there and cut them and remove them and put them in another container. So now you have 2 raspberry plants or berry plants rather than just one and double your production. We are out of time. The hour goes by so quickly, as well as we want to thank you for listening to the program. We want to thank Mike Nowak from the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki and Peggy Malecki for driving up from Evanston, the Chicago area, to be part of the show. You can certainly tune into their program each and every Sunday, 9 to 11 a.m. on WGCO 1590. You can find that on the Simple Radio app, the TuneIn app. You can also go to MikeNovak.net and listen to it live. So we greatly appreciate you two coming on the program. Programming note, join us next week when we're going to talk about 5 mistakes people make when dehydrating. Dehydration is a method that many people use to prolong the harvest. So talk about 5 mistakes people make when dehydrating food, as well as basics of canning. We're going to go over what you need to know so you can do it safely and successfully this season, as well as Amy Strauss. She is a permaculture gardener, writer, educator, and author of the book Suburban Micro Farm. She's got a background in home-scale food production as well. She'll be with us. Miss any portion of this program or want to revisit it in its entirety, you can certainly do that by going to the radio tab at the top of the page at the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Want an individual interview or specific topic or segment? You can find that in the highlight tab on the right-hand side of the main page. Until next week, for Mike Nowak, Peggy Malecki, Holly Baird, I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.
You've been listening to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Tell a friend and join Joey and Holly again next week so we can all grow together. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show is a production of the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com in association with WI Garden Media broadcast live from the WNOV 860 AM and the W293CX 106.5 FM, Courier Communication Studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.